In 2005, the Harvard Loeb Fellowship convened a forum with the challenge, how can designers do a better job of serving communities? One of the people at that forum was Steve Lewis, who is a past president of the National Organization of Minority Architects. And he told us a story about a young woman in his office at the General Services Administration, Kim Dowdell, who said to him, "We need something like LEED that includes the social and economic, like SEED." So out of that convening, the SEED network was formed because we did believe that social, economic, and environmental challenges are what all of our communities need to look at, not just the environmental. So we quickly included others in the conversation. We grew to 200 members of the SEED network, and then we did a survey. And being a democratic body, we asked everybody to nominate principles of best practices for public interest design. We had over 100 submitted, and we took a vote, and 6 received a majority vote. One of these became our mission. Every person should be able to live in a socially, economically, and environmentally healthy community. What's important about this statement is it's common ground with the public. This is something that the public can also understand. We feel that design has an important role in achieving this mission. However, the public doesn't understand that relationship at this moment, and this is for us to prove, and this is why an evaluation is so important. The other principles were advocate with those who have a limited voice in public life, build structures for inclusion that engage stakeholders and allow communities to make decisions, promote social equality through discourse that reflects a range of values and social identities, generate ideas that grow from place and build local capacity, designed to help conserve resources and minimize waste. Now the SEED network is online, and people can join if they pledge to actively further the SEED mission and SEED principles and to use them as a guide for your work. We have 1,600 members, including 100 that we got in the last month. We're diversifying our stakeholders. Anybody who feels that resources should be allocated to a community's greatest challenges through a democratic decision-making process is a SEED stakeholder. That's the value proposition of SEED. Allocating resources to a community's greatest challenges through a democratic decision-making process. We continue to grow our stakeholders. Recently, we surveyed the AIA membership. 77% of AIA members agreed that the SEED mission was a valuable mission for the practice of public interest design. 75% of AIA members believe that the principles together represent an ethical basis for the practice of public interest design. So finding that common ground is one of the ways we're expanding the SEED network. However, a mission, principles, and a network are not having a positive impact in communities. How do you make the principle and mission actionable? Our answer was the SEED Evaluator. So what is the SEED Evaluator? The SEED Evaluator is a communication tool that allows communities to define goals for design projects and then measure the success in achieving these through a third-party review. Using the SEED Evaluator allows communities to develop their leadership and decision-making from within, while using a proven method and recognized standard of success, leading to possible SEED certification. The SEED Evaluator can assist individuals, groups, designers, communities, project planners, and participants achieve their goals that are focused on the triple bottom line of social, economic, and environmental issues. There are 3 fundamentals to the SEED Evaluator. We want it to be transparent. We want it to provide accountability. In other words, were the goals met? We want it to be inclusive. We want it to be a valid public participation process. So here you see a visual graphic of the 3.0 version, which will be released next week. There are 3 phases to the process. First phase is project basics, which includes a definition of who the community is, who the stakeholders are, how will they be involved in the decisions, what are the challenges, and what is the design product. The second phase involves more detail, such as providing benchmarks and providing performance measures. We also ask, what will success look like and how will you measure it? The third phase comes post-occupancy or post-implementation to find out if successful results have been achieved. The evaluator is based on the logic model, which is a tool used by grant makers, basically allows local communities to determine local solutions. These are the 9 areas of information that we ask for, which are drawn from the logic model. And this is a bottom-up. Unlike LEAD, which is a checklist that every community gets more points for just checking off, this is a method where every community defines their own metric for success. So this is an online tool. It basically walks applicants step by step through what we believe is a best practice process. SEED 1, as I said, is the basics. Here's our checklist of issues. Typically, a project will have 1 priority issue and then 2 secondary and third issues. In some cases, projects have been as ambitious as having 8 issues. We love other issues. We're trying to increase what we consider design issues. So we love when we get a new issue. A new issue we have now is restorative justice is a recent issue. You see the yellow box in the screen. This is where the SEED reviewers give feedback on the project. So at the end of each of the phases, we send it back with either more work to be done or that it can move ahead to the next phase. Reviewers are people like Jamie Blosser, who's worked for many years with Native American communities as a Rose Fellow and now as a licensed architect. So there's a mentoring happening through the SEED process. Then you move on to part 2, answer questions such as what are the performance measures, which means how will you measure success. And then, as I said, after a period of implementation and use, if you're successful, the project can be certified. Then the projects become case studies with documentation of how they succeeded. Here's a SEED scorecard of a performing arts center in Durham. You can see that it lists social, economic, and environmental issues. Not all projects have to have all 3. We realize every community has a unique blend of social, economic, and environmental issues. Here's a project under certification process, but not there yet, Butaro Hospital in Rwanda. Obviously, it's addressing health, but it also provided jobs. So these are all listed here on the scorecard. So moving forward, we believe we need to have a professional standard in public interest design. We cannot make the mistakes and violate the public trust that other professions have, such as public health. In the Tuskegee study, for example, they let people die rather than give them treatment because some doctors in the U.S. Public Health Service thought this was in the public good. We can't make mistakes like that. We need to define a clear public design process in order to protect the public trust and also to include the public in the process. This is a project that I found on the Open Architecture Network that's supposed to protect 200,000 people from a tsunami. I'm just going to say I don't recommend any of you get into one of these if you're trying to survive a tsunami. But seriously, we cannot post projects online and represent to the public that these are in their interests. We need a process of vetting and protecting the public interest. And lastly, what we're doing is providing education and training. We have a Public Interest Design Institute. We've trained 400 people in the SEED process. 98% of people who attend say they will submit a SEED project in the future. This is when we're having an impact. So just to summarize, the SEED evaluator is a way to measure success, a communication tool, a community-driven process, a professional standard, and it can be a grant application. Thank you very much.